Hi and welcome back. In this video segment, we will be assembling the remainder of our tray. We will be using the two arched pieces of southern yellow pine, and we will be gluing those to the tray that we've previously glued together and assembled. In order to do that, we'll need the tray, the two arches, and the four dowel, quarter-inch dowel pieces that were part of the possum box kit. What else you will need your glue brush. You also need your Titebond 3. You'll need a damp rag on hand to wipe away excess glue. And we need to dress the edge of the tray. We did our best to keep the edges in line whenever we glued the tray together, but mine have slight ridges that need to be eased so that I don't have to sand those down after I put the handles on. I want to go ahead and take care of that now so that I can finish that. Now, I'm not so concerned. Mine actually is very straight and perpendicular, and so I'm just going to sand this by hand by using a piece of either 120 grit, 150 grit, or even 220 grit sandpaper. And you can go that high because of the softness of this aromatic cedar. But again, I want to just ease these joints where I have just a slight lip. And so let's get started. So I'm gonna take my sandpaper, and again, it'll be 120, 150, or 220. And I'm going to just sand the tray and try to ease these joints where I have a slight lip. Now, whenever I have the arch here on the end, it's going to be much harder to sand the end like I'm doing right now. So that's why we're taking care of it right now before we glue the arches on. And now I've gotten those edges smoothed out. So here we are, ready to assemble our tray. One of the things that I want to point out is on your two arched pieces, what I'm going to be looking for to determine which side I want to go against the tray and which side I want to be to the outside. I'm going to look at the holes. And you might notice on your pieces that the holes have a side that's really smooth and then a side that has a little bit of grain tear out. I want to be sure that that little bit of grain tear out goes to the inside. It'll be hidden there in the joint that it makes with the tray. I'm actually gonna take a piece of wax paper that I had from previous work gluing this up. I'm gonna lay my arch pieces on that, and I'm gonna be sure to put the grain tear out to the top, so facing up. And that'll be the inside. And then what I want to do is take a little bit of Titebond 3 wood glue that we've been working with, and I'm going to put a little bit on this dowel. Just a bit. You can see there's not a whole lot of wood glue on there. Now, whenever we push this wood glue into the arch, much of that wood glue is going to push out or be pushed off. I want to push that dowel all the way down until it bottoms out. Now, you might need to have something to help you press, because that could hurt your hand a little bit. So I'm going to press it down with that clamp, and it's flush there on the outside now of the arch. And you can see the glue that has been pushed out of that glue up. I'm going to repeat that step. Now I want to take, and I'm going to put glue on the other end of both dowels. Go ahead and wipe that on. Then I'm going to take my arch, I'm going to start it into one hole and then get the other hole lined up, and then I'm going to push this piece into until it firmly seats against the cedar tray. I'm going to spin it around. I'm going to put some glue on the dowels of the other arch. We'll repeat that from this end. Start one end in, and then push the other one in, and then press to seat it against the cedar tray. I'm going to move my wax paper out of the way, and then I'm going to take my rag, my damp rag, and any glue that has been pressed out I want to deal with at this point. Now, one thing that I want to ensure is that I have no gaps where the arch handle meets the tray. I want that to be nice and flush on both ends. And then I don't want to really be picking up the tray, even though these handles will support the tray. We want the glue to be able to dry thoroughly and properly set before we stress those joints. So spin it how you need to spin to get a look at all your glue squeeze out points. Go ahead and get everything cleaned up. And once everything is cleaned up, go ahead and double check that it's pressed together nicely. And then we want it to just sit just how it is for at least an hour for that glue to thoroughly dry and set for those dowels. The next step after we let this dry and cure will be to sand it and then to finish it. So we're quickly moving toward a completed project.